Hi everyone, hope everyone's having a great summer so far. I've been super busy, not so much working on the journal, but in other ways. But I set aside today, which is Sunday, to work on the journal. So I started putting this together and then I thought, I really should be videoing this, just to let people know I'm still alive and, what's kind of going on. So I'm working on one of the pages in the second signature, and I wanted to I've been using like doilies as flips, and I'll show you what I did with the other one. Okay, so this is what I did with this one, and I'm doing 2 per signature, and I wasn't happy with the way when you opened up the page, it kind of took the doily with it and opened it immediately. So you didn't get to see the front of the doily. And so I solved that problem by kind of holding it down with the little keys. And so that just swings over. And I'll show you how I do that. It's pretty simple. And anyway, I'm working on another insert here, which is the plain tea stained, but it's another doily. So what I've been doing is just folding it over and gluing it to the page, but this time I thought, I'm going to do something a little different, because when you flip the page, this would kind of fall open. I didn't want that to happen, so I'm going to use this, which is I don't even know where this is from. I think it's from my mom's stash. She years ago had given me just said, go through all what I've got, take what you want, because we were both paper hoarders. So anyway, I loved the grunginess of it, and so then I just took a wet tea bag, and I rubbed it all over the top, and then I dried it, and then I did the back same way, so you get this sort of neat buildup of tea granules, I guess they are. And I plan on scoring it and gluing it along the edge here. Once I've done that and it's dry, then I'll punch the corners out. But it's too hard to punch them first and then line them up. It never works out. And because this is been wet, like both, this is tea stained as well, the page I'm adhering it to, and this, you get that ripple effect, so you never really get a nice clean lineup. And so I'll just go ahead and I'll glue that down, I'll let it dry. But what I'm trying to figure out here is I've taken one of the little gears that I've covered in embossing powder, and I'm going to adhere it to here. Now I didn't want anything too two-dimensional, but then what I'm going to do is punch 2 holes here, and I'm going to thread the ribbon up like, let's just do it. Let's see if it works. I think I'm going to glue this first so that I make sure I get the markings proper. No, I can't, because I have to use a hole punch. And I have really tiny hole punches. Let's see what I've got. That one's a giant one. This one I think is too small. It's just a pinhole. This one. That one will work. Now this one is the 1/8. So what I'm going to do then, I can always, once it's glued, trim off the top or the bottom if it turns out that it's too long, but it shouldn't be. Then I'm just going to find the center of my page approximately. I need a pencil. Oh, I just finished taking my craft room all apart and moving it around so it's different positions. I'm hoping this configuration works well for the lighting. I don't know if it will or not, but we'll see. Once I film this, I'll have a better idea. So this is just sort of an eyeball guideline for me, because I am going to punch it I'm only going to do about 1/4 of an inch glue line. So I just want to punch it just ahead of that, which is, you know, like I said, I eyeball. So that lines up there. Move it down to about there. Punch a hole there. Then line that up there. Slide it down. And I'm going to gently squeeze and I'm going to turn it to see if I'm in line. I know you can't see this, but I'm going to lightly squeeze. That's pretty good, I think. About there. Yeah, close enough. Yeah, it's actually pretty good. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread this from the top, the good side, to the back side. Make sure that's like so. Now, let's get this in here. Now, what I did was I punched out of cardstock and glued it onto here, so that would raise it up slightly so that the ribbon will go over it, and I'm going to glue that here. So then what happens is just the center part's going to be glued, and then hopefully this will tuck under here like that. So yeah, it really will only take the top part. So I might glue just half this. That's what I'll probably do, so that it comes down a little further. Do I want to do that, you guys? Or, because I kind of didn't want a tie in the middle of a page. I wanted it at the edge of the page on this side, right? I'm going to go ahead and glue this first. Get this out of my way. Sorry for that little noise in the background. That's my ceiling fan. It's been rather hot the last 4 or 5 days. I haven't had any rain or anything. Okay. So that's gonna go this way to here. Glue that down. Make sure that's kind of in line. Go up a little bit. Yeah, about there. Okay, so I've left this back piece open here on this side. You have to let that dry pretty good because you don't want your ribbon to get stuck. And let's see. Thinking. Yeah. So what I need to do is line this up and punch my holes. So then you just kind of lightly squeeze, and then I wiggle it so that it's definitely in the mark. There we go. Okay, so then that will get glued down. So let's do that. Oh, these little bits and pieces drive me nuts. Open that up. Actually, what I'm going to do first is score it. I know this isn't in camera, but you know what a scoreboard looks like. Where's my scoring? There it is. Okay, I'm going to do right here. Lightly bend it back, and then that gives you your glue line. And I try not to get too close to the bend line, because then it'll catch your paper where you don't want it and it won't bend properly. Try and flatten out your glue as you go. Don't need a lot. But with my ceiling fan on, glue's gonna dry. So I went to see my mom in Lethbridge. There was somebody who left a comment about me meeting up with coffee, and I feel really bad that I didn't contact them, but it was a fly-in, fly-out type of, I mean, we drove, but I mean, what I mean is it was fast. To be honest, I couldn't really even afford to go, but thanks to you awesome people who bought my new kit, you actually paid for my trip, so thank you very much for that. Yeah, because it was a spur-of-the-moment trip. My uncle was saying that my mom's kind of bad, so I hadn't seen her in, come on, slide, hang on. There it is. Okay, there we go. I hadn't seen her in, I guess it was almost 2 years, because yeah, all you know, Canadians know how expensive it is to fly in our own country, and to go to my mom's, it's like mega money, and it's one province over from me, which really annoys me. But it's a small town. Lethbridge isn't very, well, it's actually not super small, but they don't have an airport that bigger planes can land. So WestJet doesn't have a direct flight there, and I only fly WestJet just because you guys know I don't like flying, and I'm very comfortable on WestJet. I've always had great flights with them. I think Air Canada might go there, but honestly I hate Air Canada, so you know, to each his own, right? Everybody has different experiences, and mine wasn't a good one. You know what, I did that totally wrong, you guys. You know why I did that totally wrong? Because now when I fold that up, no, that worked. No, it doesn't. It doesn't work. I should have punched the holes into there. Okay, reality TV again, you guys. If I do this, you see, it won't work. So the only way I can fix that is to have it come up from the back here. See, if I tie that off and then unhook it and flip that, well, if I give it some give, I guess it'll be all right. Yeah, I guess. I'm not sure I really like this look though. Or if I want, I have twine. What did I do with it? There it is. I'm just wondering if the twine would be easier, or if I went the other way. I don't like that either. Because I think it's going to be hard to pull off this. Yeah, there's no stretch to it. And I don't have any stretchy elastic that's really thin. I do have stretch lace, but I think it's too thick for this. So, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this page now. I mean, I can always cover this over, that's not a problem. I'm baffled. So, when I get baffled, I move on to something else. And then an idea will hit me, and it'll work. Now, which way did I have this going? I think I had it this way, yes. So I'm going to put it back into here so that I remember where I took it from. And I've just had an idea. It means me covering up that one spot. Where did I put it? Right here. The back part. Okay, seriously, where are you? Here it is. Okay, I can cover this over with something. And then on this side, I can use a brad maybe. I'm not sure, since I moved my room around, where I put my brads. I'll find them later. But I think I might be able to put a brad there. And then when I open this up, I will cover the back, because I don't like how brads rub against paper. And then I will put something on this side and this side. I might even do it like a hinge on here with some decorative paper, or I might scrap the whole idea, who knows. But right now, let's move on. Okay, so I haven't shown you any of this stuff, I don't think. This I've just done with little, these come in the kit, and they're just little pockets that hold the tags. And it's a great place for photos, because these will flip open, so you can add a couple small photos or one large photo, or you can actually write over top of this in black felt. It'll work. You'll be able to see what you're writing. I shouldn't be showing you this. So what am I working on then? Well, I still have to do this. So what I wanted to show you was I decided I'm going to do these as paper clips. I thought they'd be absolutely adorable. And I can use this one to cover over that, like to hold that down. I can paper clip that in and it'll hold it down. But I wanted the top hat shinier, so I'm going to cover it embossing powder. Now, if you notice, Because I flipped them when I designed them. Is my camera even the right way? I keep doing this, don't I, right? Sorry about that. Because I flipped them, when you put them together, they actually match. And you might have to do a tiny bit of trimming because you don't cut everything out exact, right? But anyway, I digress. Let's do some embossing with some clear. Now my clear embossing powder, I've also mixed the Tim Holtz one. There's so much little bits of paper in here. Usually it doesn't matter. You know, the Distress one that he has, embossing powder, is mixed in there. So it doesn't give you that glass finish, but I kind of like the look. Let's see how well this covers. Okay, then I need my tweezers. Oh, come on. Okay. There's that little tiny piece of paper. Okay. Now, if you want it thicker, you can do another coat of it. I don't think I'm going to, but... I finally put some hooks in my table so I can hang my heat guns on. So much nicer. They kept falling on the floor. Okay. So then that's going to go sandwiched together. Excuse me. And I took out some large paper clips. Here's one. So what you want is this part. I use the big part inside. And this one's big enough that the whole thing will go in, actually. Pretty much the whole thing. And then I sandwich that over top of it so that you have the slide. Now, depending on which way you want it to go, in this case, I want it to go this way, but if you were doing the opposite page, you'd flip it around and go in the opposite direction. So, usually when I do paper clips, I'll do one going one way, one going the other. Then I use a ton of glue around the clip part itself. Put it right on the clip too. But you want it to stick together real well. And no, I never use a glue gun for this. I don't like glue guns usually. I find they add way too much bulk and they don't last the same. Quite honestly, I've had several things done in glue gun and they just don't stay together. I forget what I was doing the other day and it all fell apart. And you know, when you put that much work into it, you want it to stay together, right? Okay, then I try and get all the edges lined up. And then really push down. That's okay if it's got the, you know, the bump from the actual paper clip, that's fine. Let's see, this isn't, I'm gonna have to trim that a wee bit. But I won't trim until it's actually dry because it's very bendy and it'll slide around. And then you'll find that, oh, you know, you thought you had it all glued together and discovered, no, you don't. But it's really important that the spot that's opposite where you're going to slide is flat. Otherwise, it'll catch every single time you want to slide it onto your paper. So make sure that's down nice and firm. Okay, so then I'm going to let that dry. I'll trim it up, and then I'll take a black felt and go around the edge, and then you won't even notice. And then I'm doing this one too, which is super cute. But like I said, because I did two different kinds, one going one way, one going the other, you can do paper clips easily with these cutouts. This one I sprayed a little bit because I didn't like, this is how it is, it's very white. And yeah, I didn't want that. So I think I might ink it. A little bit of ink. Let's do, what should I do? Let's do this oxide vintage photo, just lightly, you know, in a circular, just to take out that excess white. It's still a little white. Smaller pieces, work your way away from it or you're going to tear it. There we go. That's better, I think. That looks much better. I might as well do this side too. Just because. That looks better. Okay, now on this one I want to do the clip going this way. I actually think I'll use this instead of that side. Yeah. Yeah, so the clip is going to go from this side. And this one I'm going to emboss. And it's quite a big piece, so I don't want to get ink on my table because then everything sticks to it. So I'm going to do it like this. And hope that that's enough ink. And I've said before, I take this off the back because it affects the glue. Sometimes it doesn't adhere as well when you've got embossing powder on there. Good. I got it all. There we go. And then I go over that spot where I had it clipped just to melt that little bit there. Alrighty. Now, that is going to go on there. That's cute. Okay, let's glue. Good way to use up your bits and pieces that you didn't end up getting on your page. Make them into clips. I don't always use all of the stuff, the cutouts that come with kits. Because you know how much I like having lots of journaling space, and I don't like them overly done, all the pages overly done, where you can't really journal. It looks really nice, but it's not practical. I guess I'm kind of a practical person. I'm definitely not a frilly person. That's for sure. Oh, turn that. Come here, you. Go back in there. Okay. That's better. Okay, let's get the edges squished. Oh, come on, you. Don't do that. This one I may not end up trimming, but I will go back over it around the edge just if there's any white showing. And I can just do that with ink on this side. That looks good. That's going to be cute on the page, I think. Okay, so those are set aside. Then I wanted to show you, what was I going to use? I'm not sure if I had anything left. But you can use anything that you have, like say I've got the pocket watch. Well, if I have two of them, I might not. I might have keys though. Let's see. I have one key. That's not going to work either. Unless I cut a few more keys out. I really want to show you guys how I do that with the... let me just explain it. You have 3 keys. 2, you're going to have your good side. Okay? The third one doesn't matter, because what you're going to do is take a good one and one that has nothing on it, and you're going to glue them together. But before you glue them together, you're going to put your eyelet through. No, you know what? Explaining it is just not going to work. I'm going to have to show you, but I will have to pause and cut some more out, and then I'll just, we'll do it that way. Okay, I'll see you soon. Okay, I'm back. So what I have done is I'm going to use these guys. And they were just printed on paper. They were leftovers. So I adhered them to a lightweight cardstock. This will be the swing part, the top part, and this will be the bottom. Now I didn't glue this part here because I need to add my brad. And what I like to do is sandwich my brad in between so that when you bend them back, you're not going to have it on the back side here, which will eventually, I think, wear a hole into your page on the opposite side. Let me move this light a little bit. I'm not sure how good that is. So I know I've got some shadows. I apologize for that. Maybe that's better. Okay. So in order to do that, you're going to line these up, and I'm going to fold and leave the back part open. And then I'm going to use my little pokey tool here and put it, put it wherever you think you want it. And watch your fingers when you do this, because I did already emboss the top part. And so now I've got sort of a guide hole. Then I'll use a bigger one. Can separate. Oh, is this the top? No, not separating that one. Okay. And I'm just gonna make it a little bit bigger. And it should be fairly easy on this side because it's just paper. Okay. Then I'm going to use a black one. Could use a brown one, but I kind of want it to show a little bit. So I'll use a black one. And you thread it through. So ultimately you want 3 of these. Okay, so I guess I didn't do 3 of these yet. Anyway, you're going to have 3 of these. And let's pretend these aren't here. And you got a 3rd one. So you're going to glue, you're going to punch your holes in the 2, and then you're going to glue the back on after you've threaded your brad into the top. And then you glue a back on. That's the same shape. And then that piece gets glued onto your page. So once I put this through here, then I'm going to bend the tongs back. And you don't want it too tight because you do want it to move, right? Sorry. My phone. Let me put it on silent. Okay. So you want to test it out and make sure that it does move. I might want that a little bit tighter though. So I'm going to take my pliers or whatever they're called, and I'm going to squish that down a little. See if that helps. No, now see, I've done it too much now. I'm going to pull it up a little bit. Okay, that's better. Now it looks flimsy right now because I haven't glued that part yet. So now let's glue that. And before you glue it, make sure, this will spin. So make sure that when it spins, it's not sticking out anywhere. And if it is, just take your Tim Holtz scissors or your metal cutters, whatever you have. Regular scissors won't do it. But when I spin this, you see, nothing's showing anywhere. So I'm good. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this together. And you're really just gluing around it because the tongs have to move, right? So I glue that like that, and then I move it and make sure that I've moved any glue off where it's going to spin, and then it'll spin. Okay, so now when you glue everywhere. When you glue it, the back part down onto the page, this will turn. Simple, right? It's a little fussy, and it depends on what you're using. I'm going to do these smaller version, but I've done it on an envelope, which I'm including. What did I do with it? Ah, here it is. So that's what I've done here, and I've just done a tab. It's just a little, those mini tabs from the Tim Holtz Bigs Die, and then I just glued a flower on top of it, and it just spins. So when you spin it out of the way, then that will fold down. It's really simple, and it's not, see, it's not on the inside. There's no back on the inside because that's exactly how I did it. Okay, so my paper clips are dry, and this one I'm going to go and trim it a little bit. And when you're trimming stuff like this, keep your scissors on a bit of an angle so that the cut line goes behind. If you do it like this, then sometimes you're not close enough and you still have an edge. So if you lean your scissors over a little bit. And I know I've mentioned that before, but not everybody's seen every video, right? So some things should be repeated. Okay, that little spot here that I don't care for. And then, you're not going to ink obviously, so I use, this is a Pitt pen, but you can use any, I like to use, what is it called, like a brush end, rather than a straight edge. And then just run it along the edge here. I always work from back to front. If you get ink on this side, it doesn't matter because you've done, you know, you've done the same on the back and it's black. But when I'm doing stuff that I'm gluing down on a page and I want to ink, or if it's intricate and you can't ink it, then I use a pen and I work from back to front. So if you slip off, you're only going to damage the back part, which is getting glued down anyway. So rather than front to back, because then I've done it. So if you do it this way, sometimes you slide across and then your image is kind of wrecked. In this case, it doesn't really matter too much because it is embossed, but it's just good practice to habits, right? So my husband went fishing and caught halibut and coho, and he had a fantastic time way up on Vancouver Island. And I thought we were going away the same week. Well, no, he made a boo-boo on the dates he was leaving, so I had 4 days on my own. And I'd love to say I got lots accomplished, but except for housework, I didn't really. I just did tons of housework because I haven't really deep cleaned since we got back from our trip in May, at the end of May. So it was in need, let me tell you. Now this one's going to be trickier because I kind of have to work from the front. So just use the tip and go slow. I did back both these. Now, when I do the part that I glue to the page, that I like to have on a lightweight, well, a cardstock basically. if I've printed something out and it's on paper, then I will glue it to cardstock, because paper is a little bit too thin for the constant rubbing of the brad. So I did that on this scrap cardstock to give them both weight. And you want the top kind of weighted too for the swing, and to hold whatever it is you want held down. Let's see if I can get that top part. There. Okay. So that one page I was working on, this one, I thought it would be cute to use this. So you can, you know, have it wherever you want to place it. I'll probably do it up a little high. Maybe I'll go down a little bit. Depends on what you're holding down. Like this is pretty delicate, you know, and you don't want it to catch on stuff, but you know, you could do it like that, right? And then it just swings back down again. You can do it on an angle, whatever, you know, have it flat. I think I'll probably do it flat, but let's glue that down. So let's take this stuff out. I still haven't figured out what I'm going to do there. And I probably could put these away. I wonder, maybe I might save this for the next book so that the next signature, so that each one has a swing out. This signature already has one. So I think I'll use the paper clip on this instead. There we go. That's cute, right? Yeah. And then on this side you can, you know, clip like a bingo card or whatever on the other side. Or note paper, which I have printed up, or whatever. Anyway, I'm confused where I put stuff though. This is the problem of moving things around. I'm usually pretty organized with that, but I think I'll have to go through this and see where I put the flip, because I have another flip here that goes back in the book, which I haven't finished. This one though, I just covered some, what is this from? It's from a book that I bought at the dollar store, and I just took the pages out. They were stitched in, so I just took the pages out because I love the color. It's a little lightweight, so I added tea stained paper that I had put a doily on when I stained it in the tea. And then I had this very lightweight cardstock with the gears on it, which was perfect, and then it was white, so I just sprayed the back with a mix of the walnut ink, and it's probably 3/4 water to 1/4 walnut ink, and you get a really nice effect. Anyway, I think this was before I watered it down even more, but they go in there. And then this is the Kirby Teasdale. So I pulled out a bunch that I thought would, you know, go well. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I'm trying really hard to use up some of the papers that I have had for a million years. And instead of printing out extra paper, I'm using what I have in my stash. So, but like I say, I think there's a flip that goes in here somewhere, and I don't remember where. Where's the other flip? Okay, that flip is in between patterned and tea stained. So in between pattern and tea, probably goes here. Yeah, I think so. And that's the other thing I wanted to mention too. That, you know, when you're working on flips, if you've started to do this where you're not actually putting things on the paper, which I like because, you know, it gives you way more room to journal. And when I do that, some of them get pretty heavy because, you know, I'm adding layers and layers of paper. Like this one's only got the one. I haven't even done this side yet. And if it gets a little bit too thick and you haven't done your next flip, I'll reposition it in my book. If you put it closer, like this one was pretty thick. That's why this was at the front, but I've moved it. It's very thick. I have, this is lightweight cardstock here, plus these. And then you open it and there's more, this is paper. I folded over this cardstock onto this side. So that thickened up the edge here. Then I've got die cuts, right? So my die cuts are holding ephemera. So that's thick. And then on this side too, this is more tea stain paper, which I've doubled up at the bottom. And you're adding layers and layers of things, right? So when you do that, you might find that now your pages are doing this at the front already, and you don't want that. If you put them in this, you know, closer to the middle, they fold flatter. So that's what I'll do, is I start out with a layout, and then I might have to move it around. But you give yourself that option, right? For the next one that you do, you're looking at it going, okay, well, then the next one I do, I'm only going to use paper and maybe not as many die cuts. So maybe more flip downs or, you know, opens, like, which is why I was doing the way I did that doily. I was thinking, you know, fold one paper over the other paper. It's still not super thick and it's not glued down. And when you don't glue it down, you don't get that extra bulk because glue adds bulk as well. And these were all put on with a glue stick, so this is now pretty stiff, this piece. So here I'll probably do like a side pocket with just printed paper. Like, actually I think I have this one that I've kind of stained up a little bit. So I was going to put this here, leave this part open so you can slide something in there. And if you want, then you can add another, like a separate piece where it flips up. Or I have smaller doilies. This isn't one, but you could put a doily, like tuck it under here like that before, and then you can lift it up so that it's just, it's decorative, but it's hiding your writing under here or your photo that you've added or whatever. So I'll probably do something like that. And then this side is not that thick at all. So I can keep this part here. So it's kind of like it's a process, right? That's why you complete one section, put them all together, keep them together, is my recommendation anyways. Keep them together, and then when you're flipping your pages, you're going, oh, I'm getting pretty thick now, right? And then at that point you might want to, look at my fingers, sorry. At that point, you might decide, okay, I no longer want 2 signatures, I want 3. Which is what happened with me. I decided, no, I'm going to do 3 signatures. So I designed 2 more pages for this kit. And everybody who ordered the kit already got an email with the new pages in it. And so now I didn't change the price or anything. I left the price the same. So you'll get 2 extra pages for the same price. And the other thing I wanted to say before I go is I also designed a front cover, which I didn't realize I hadn't done a front cover. And so I designed a new front cover, and I'm not emailing this out. It is in the store under freebies. So if you have this kit and you want the front cover, you can just download it and it won't cost you anything. Okay, so that's it for today, guys. I got other things I have to get done in the house, and mother-in-law's coming tomorrow for dinner, so I like to have my house kind of clean. I'm a terrible housekeeper. I got too many things going on at the same time. That's my problem. And then I'm going to be sewing up a storm too. Decided that I'm going to start making my own clothes again, and yeah, so I got lots of projects on the go. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy, you Canadians enjoy the long weekend, and you Americans enjoy your weekend, period. So we'll talk soon, and like I said before, if you have any questions, let me know. Oh, I wanted to mention before I go, this here, I made rust paper. So I just took some watercolor paper and I did this technique with the rust. Now, I did it using Vintage Moss's tutorial. And so I will link that under the description box to her channel so that you can watch her tutorial. It's a really good tutorial. But it's cool because you use cinnamon. And yeah, it actually still smells. I did this like a year ago. But it gives you that sort of bumpy, rusty look that you get, you know, when something's rusted, it starts to build up and you get that look. And I liked it on the watercolor paper. You don't have to use watercolor paper. I don't think she did. But I like the effect of the watercolor paper, and it absorbs a lot of water without, you know, kind of ruining your paper. So that will be in the description box. The store address is in the description box. And like I said, you know, if you comment and you have a question, you know, I'll answer. So that's it. Okay, we'll talk soon. Bye.